Ja, herzlich willkommen zu einer neuen Ausgabe SI Talk und ich habe heute wieder ein Interview mit einer Firma, P2P Group Limited. Ich habe einen Clarke bei mir, er wohnt in Singapur, tolle Stadt, war ich letztes Jahr. Ich habe mir die Präsentation im Vorfeld eigentlich angeschaut und ich habe eigentlich nicht so wirklich eine Idee, was die Firma macht. Ich kann mir vorstellen, was er macht, ich bin aber wirklich gespannt, wie er mir die Firma beschreibt und was sie tatsächlich machen. Ed, thank you for your time. I say it in my German introduction. I'm looking at your presentation, but I don't really have a clue what you really do. I have an idea in my mind, but maybe I'm absolutely wrong. So maybe you can describe your company in a nutshell, maybe as an elevator pitch, so that we have an idea what you're doing.
Yeah, so it's very interesting and something that I think is very new to everyone in terms of I can't believe this is possible. So if you think about the thing that you probably use the most in technology every day, it's probably Wi-Fi. So we all spend all day, every day on Wi-Fi signal, and a Wi-Fi signal comes from a router, and it's a radio frequency that gets sent to and from that router. And an idea that I've been tracking out of academia for a while now, and now with AI neural networks, we can combine. And essentially, we can use a Wi-Fi router's radio signal like a camera. And so we can actually understand what's happening in the physical environment through the information we gather from the Wi-Fi signal. So, I think people are very aware of things like radar and LiDAR, so these types of measurements through signal, but this is a new technology coming out with the advancements of Wi-Fi and radio frequency. So
is it sorry to interrupt? Is this like you use sonar? You do like kind of sonar. You put a signal out, the frequency coming back, and the difference you see that what your background or your backyard looks like. So is it a kind of this thing?
Another example I give, which is pretty common in these movies, is someone will stand on like a stage and the green laser will go up and down and scan the person. They'll use the laser to build like a 3D picture of that person or a replica of that person.
Yeah.
You see it all the time in Hollywood. So it's like that, but we're using the radio signal and we can use it with a lot of intelligence. And so my background in industrial supply chain and in aged care, disability care technologies, it all came together in terms of this is like the one technology that can do almost everything that I've done with all different specialist devices before in my career. So it's a super exciting technology because it's so low cost to deploy, if not no cost at all, because everyone has Wi-Fi. But the intelligence you can get it is incredible. So you think about the fact that today, with a very, very small device or a cheap device, we can actually, from meters away, read your heart rate and your breathing patterns from the radio signal.
But you need a small device in each room, or is it enough when you put it in for example, we have a house with 3 floors. We need in every floor then this device, or in every room this device, or how it looks like.
Yeah, so essentially same as a Wi-Fi system. As far as the Wi-Fi go, we can understand what's happening. If you have what some people know as a Wi-Fi mesh network, we can get super high resolution images from that. So we can actually triangulate all the different signals and build a very high resolution image of what's happening in that space. Okay,
I have this mesh network, so it's really, and then I put only one device so put it to the router or put it to the mesh system.
So if your internet provider gives us access to that device, you don't actually need any hardware then to use that technology. So we can just extract straight from the router. So you don't actually need a specialist device. But if you do, we're talking about a $20 device to do some of these things that, you think about the cost of a radar system or a LiDAR system, you're talking thousands, $5,000, $10,000. So super cheap. These are consumer products that you can get online and super cheap to use.
But this makes me a little bit scary. You say when the provider say to you or can or give you the data, you can see what's in every house maybe is happened.
Oh, I think Google and Facebook and Apple are already getting all of that information from you, but no, I think this is like an over-the-top service, right? You wouldn't do it for free because there are obviously costs to capture. But if say you wanted to then have home security in your house, a lot of people don't like, we talk about privacy and security. A lot of people don't like cameras in their house because it's just, you don't want things filming you while you're walking around. And so this is enables you to have home security and capture, is there a person walking around my house at night when I'm in bed or when I'm away? Captures these types of events without having to have cameras and things that are more invasive in your home.
Okay, and you are in the stage that you can measure already these things. It's not that we talk it theoretical, you can do it, so we talking already that you can do this. Is it right?
We are in our lab, we're already doing this, yeah. So I've got a device here at home, which I can show you. So this thing here, that's about, I think, $20 or $30 Singapore, so about 15, 20 euro. I can put that in and that will read my heart rate, breathing, and look for motion. I can also capture things like falls. So in aged care, obviously, you're very interested to make sure that there's no fall when no one's caring for that person. So this will do a lot of intelligence like that out of the box. We're already capturing all of that information today.
So, and then we come to the uses. For example, old people, I know this from my parents before they passed away, that you always take care, are they in good health, if they're not falling down, and so on, so on. So for sure, there are some wearable like a watch or something they can measure if you're falling down or not. But with them, I put only a small device in their room, in the house, in the apartment, and then with them I can control if everything okay. Can I, for example, there are two people in this apartment. Can this system check, two heartbeats are here, two people are, and so on, so that you really say, okay, at the moment 2 people are there or 3 people are there, and so on, so on.
The answer is yes. And I think I might tell you why I got to where I am and also some of the possibilities with this. So my background, I built 4 tech companies before I built this. So one in supply chain. My most recent one was in supply chain and logistics. So I started that company. We got into the ASX, All Ords Index, 350 mil market cap. We had 10,000 transporters, 10,000 trucks connected to our platform. So we're doing all sorts of internet things, captures on vehicles, but also on warehouses. We're trying to capture how to get warehouses more efficiency, what's the activity like, but it's very expensive with hardware. The same way a warehouse is expensive, you mentioned all the devices you need in-home. A few years after I started a logistics company, I started an aged care technology company with a couple of other business people, and it is now the #1 in-home aged care technology platform in Australia. It's with about 50,000 homes. They're using 5 or 6 different hardware devices, the types of devices you're mentioning, but it's a real challenge, A, because there's a barrier to entry in terms of cost, and B, people. So for example, the fall sensors in the market now are based on wearing a necklace with a token, and if they fall over, they're asked to press the necklace to send an alert. But you can imagine, your parents are first of all, they're like, I don't want to bother my kids by pressing this if I'm not actually in an emergency situation, or they're not wearing it because it's just troublesome to put it on after the shower and things like that. So you miss a lot of critical events, which can often lead to death. And so why I was really interested in this is it's technology that's not intrusive. You don't have to wear it. You don't have to put it on. You don't have to carry it around. But it's much more efficient at picking up all different types of events. And when I talk about different types of events, we talk about walking, motion, multiple people in a house, distance traveled, have they gone to the kitchen? You want to know that they've got food from the fridge. You want to know that they've gone to the bathroom, you want to know that they've gone to the bedroom. You want to know they've got out of bed in the morning. So all of these are critical pieces of information. And this can all be trained by our customer. We'll have customers that are in agriculture. They're using this for agricultural use cases. We have really strong use cases for this in military and defense, which I think is going to be a huge market for us. So essentially what we're giving this toolkit to is people that are technology companies in these specialist domains that want to add something much more cost effective and intelligent to their technology stack to get out to their customers or even more customers, because suddenly they can get to new price points.
Mm-hmm. So you talk a lot about about use cases. What is now really the primary focus, and for what use it in this area, and in general the business model behind. So I think we are your stock listed company. In the end, it's coming up. How's the business run? So
yeah. So, and you see in the presentation, we're very focused on aged care to begin with. We see that as the low-hanging fruit for this. In all of Europe, all of Australia, all of Asia has an aging population, and people are finding ways to get monitoring in-home in a cost-effective way without being too intrusive. And so this really solves that, and it allows us to get the base of the technology out there very efficiently. But at the same time, you may have noted recently that we had an announcement of a new advisory board member who comes from the special ops in the military, and is now a tech entrepreneur. And there's a real use case for this, for the safety of military people in what they're doing around houses and cities, where they can actually, this has the capability, obviously, like Wi-Fi, to see through walls, provide safety if they're going into houses and buildings. So military police use cases, there's a number of really interesting things. And so in terms of the business model, as I mentioned, it's really easy. We're going to make this really easy for people to train the event. So the event means, what do I want to know? Do I want to know if there's a person in the room, or someone's fallen over, or there's a crack in the wall, or there's the X amount of moisture in the soil. So you can train it for everything, but we're going to make it super easy. So it's a low-code machine learning platform, a set of APIs that you can plug into your platform, and we'll simply charge you per Wi-Fi endpoint that you're using, and based on the amount of technology and memory that you're storing. So a very simple, say $10 a month per endpoint, or $50 a month per endpoint, depending on how you're deploying. So you think about these companies, these people that are monitoring, say, 10,000, 50,000 houses, they can deploy this very easily. It's just plug it into the house and you're away. They pay per month. But what's most exciting about this, from my enterprise technology experience, is there's no cost for a company to build their proof of concept. So we can give them, for example, 5 endpoints for free for them to develop their proof of concepts and test it out, because they don't need to invest in hardware. They don't need to invest in very complex things. So they can build proof of concepts. They don't need to go to CTOs and get sign-offs and budgets and go through a 12-month process. A junior engineer can simply, out of curiosity, plug this in, deploy it, test it out, and turn up at a meeting one Monday morning and say, hey, I've been testing this, and look what we can do now for a 100th of the cost of what we've been doing with specialist devices before.
Mm-hmm. Wow. I must say, as I said before, I'm a little bit scared about the technology, the potential of the technology also. And as you said also before, you have the privacy rules, especially in Europe and so on. But that's unbelievable, the potential. So, but the problem is always when I see this breakthrough technologies, that you have so many options, so many possibilities, that maybe then you're not coming to the point and die before you really survive, or going to the roof. So what is really the business plan? What you're thinking now, what you're doing now, what is your focus? Bring it to the market.
So right now we're executing towards that aged care strategy. You think about all of the, they talk about themes, especially in investing, right? What are the themes that are interesting, and the mega themes? And Now, AI is kind of one, but I think that we'll see a big consolidation in AI over the next 12 months because there's too many chatbots and things that are not IP-based technology. It's just they're plugging into something like ChatGPT, putting a wrapper on it and throwing it out into the market. And investors are going to have to figure out through all that noise what's worth things. But this is a deep technology product, and aged care for the next 15, 20 years is going to be probably one of the most lucrative. And obviously healthcare, which we can also work in, will be probably the most lucrative industry for this, because this can go all the way from the wealthiest nations to the least wealthy nations, because the cost to implement is the same. You're not losing any resolution or any ability to track things if you're using this in one country versus another, at one price point versus another. There's no better device to actually pick up high resolution, and that's going to be consolidated on with, we're at Wi-Fi 6 now. Wi-Fi 8 is coming out in about 18 months. So there's 2 iterations in the next 18 months, which is going to take us to incredibly powerful Wi-Fi signal moving around spaces. And aged care is going to need something that's affordable, that's scalable, and brings back all of the information. Just recently in Australia, the government has said you must monitor people in their homes. It's not enough anymore to send someone around 3 times a week to knock on the door and see if you're okay. You must have monitoring in houses. So it's almost you're going to be negligent and probably be up for different types of lawsuits if you don't actually have something like this in to actually keep track of what's happening and not leaving that person in trouble for 24 hours, 48 hours till the next visit. So I'm really excited about it for that space. The use cases that we're building in that space are going to be super relevant for a lot of industries, because we're talking about biometric data, we're talking about motion, we're talking about falls and safety. So all of these things will carry on into future industries. So we're focused in that space. But as I mentioned, people can come to our platform, plug in, pull out our APIs and use it for whatever they want and train it very quickly. So the beautiful thing about this compared to things I've done before is we don't need a team of 500 or 200 or 100. We'll have a small core team delivering APIs, and people can come and deliver their own end products on top of it. And they can build and test in the sandbox for free. And when they commercialize, we monetize. So it can go in many different directions from our customer base. But obviously, we'll be starting and targeting in this aged care, disability care, healthcare space, which is going to be a big long-term play.
Which market, I say more local market, Canada, Australia, or whatever, Asia, are you looking for first?
Yeah, so we've got our board is based, so myself in Asia, APAC, and then we've got some talent in Canada and Germany. So they're the areas we're really going to focus, and they also match the demographics that we're going after. We'll stay out of the USA for now. The markets that we've got earmarked here will be quite interesting ones because of the demographics and the requirements for these types of technologies.
When I look at your news flow, I think you're a very young company. So, but the technology you're not developed in a few months. So maybe you can say how these things work. Say what is a RTO or what was this?
Yeah, so there's probably 6 months of us building bootstrapped, myself and the CTO. So the CTO is world class. He built a $250 million revenue platform in his previous role. But he built a $250 million revenue platform. He was headhunted to Salesforce. I met him when I did a global search for a CTO at one of my companies, and we've kept in touch. And I called him and told him what we were doing, and he just quit his job and jumped in on this. And so this has been bootstrapped for a long time. We did an RTO with PPP out of Canada, which is dual listed in the Börse exchange under 3QG. So we did that. And essentially, we raised some funding to get us to commercialization, which is what we're doing now. So we expect to have our minimum viable product, as in the commercial product, arriving in market this year, and the first customers on board. So it's a pretty exciting time.
Okay. You said you already doing a private placement, or you're done a private placement?
So we did a placement of about 400,000 Canadian, which is probably 300,000 or so euros, something like that. The beauty of this is that we can run a small core team. So we've got a small number of top talent building this. We don't need a huge team because we don't have to, unlike SaaS products where you have to build a full end product with all of the features and switches and workflows that the customers want. We're building an API stack. So we don't need to build as much of the product out. We just need a really high quality set of APIs. So we can run it quite lean. Our burn's only sort of 30 to 35 euro a month, thousand. So it's quite a lean company. And so we'll go a long way with that.
Mm-hmm. What is your share position? How many shares you have?
Me, so obviously I was part of the acquisition, so I'm a major. I'll be in the top 2 or 3, I'd imagine. So with me and my group, this business is very tightly held, and that's one of the things. I've been running public companies for 8 years, so I really inspected PPB before the transaction happened to make sure that it was clean and neat, and then it was very tightly done, the raise, in terms of people that have supported me in the past. And some of these are kind of individuals from institutions and high net worths and people that contribute. So it's very tightly held, and everyone is there for the journey. So I feel like from that perspective, it's actually a really interesting vehicle because of the structure of it.
What, as an investor, what I can expect in the next 6 to 9 months from the news flow side? What they're really working on it?
Well, I think this is the most exciting time. You've covered off the things that you want to, before you tip the big toe in, you want to understand that the technology works. And we've got to the point where we've got the heart rate, we've got the breathing, we've got motion coming out of our system. We're just doing some more work on that, and then we can share some more things there. We've got a world-class team, and there'll be more shared on that. Which, I think any company under about $30 million, you're really looking at the quality of the management team and board and advisory board, and that is all there when we sort of announce what's happening. So really, we're coming into commercialization. We've got a CTO that's built a $200 million US revenue platform. So in terms of scale, that risk is taken care of in terms of the platform surviving at scale. We understand how to go to market, and we've done that before. So really, you're exciting because you're investing in execution of the commercial program, and so you're getting in before the first kind of major deals are announced. So I think it's a really exciting time on market as we announce our first commercial deals, and people that are coming on now may be able to be part of some upside there if that happens and when that happens.
Mm-hmm. But you're working already on some commercial deals.
Yeah, you don't build for no one, right? Like, I think one thing that some founders do is just start building a product without understanding who's going to use it. So that is the worst thing you can do, because your version 1 of the product always just gets thrown straight in the bin because you weren't speaking to anyone, you weren't co-developing. So there's plenty going on there. We've got MOU signed already with customers in the aged care space. We're in advanced discussions with people that have come to us in the defense space, which obviously wasn't the area we were going after, but they've come because of some of the benefits there. So it's an exciting time. We've got our target market really sort of mapped out, and we've got a few early MOUs and things signed, people waiting for, we've got a wait list. If you see our website, there's a wait list, so we're building up that wait list over the next couple of months.
But there is no any technical hurdle, what you can say or see in the market, that is coming up maybe in the future. They say, okay, it's not working.
No, so there's nothing that's keeping me up at night on that side. I think we're in pretty strong hands. So we'll have some more announcements about advisory board people, but we have been working with some of the best people in the world from academia that have been doing this research for a number of years on radio frequency imaging. So we've got the depth of knowledge in the signal processing space, and we've got the depth of knowledge in the technology and engineering and cloud platform space. So it's not an area that right now I'm losing sleep over. I see there's substantial risk. You never say never, but right now it's looking very good.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Wow, the potential I see is really unbelievable. So you have not only this aging problem thing, you can use it also for security, home security, whatever. There's so many use cases what you have. So it's unbelievable. Phew. Yeah. I think we are talking now 25 minutes, so I think it's really great. Was a really great introduction for the first interview. Hopefully, we can do it again, maybe in 3-6 months when you really see first commercial contracts and so on. It would really interesting for me to see how it going forward. So it's very interesting.
I think it is. And just to wrap up, and you touched on it, what I like most about this, I've built tech platforms in the past, and once we look at our gross margin on delivering the solution to the customer, around 80%. This can be much higher, and we can do that in developing countries and first world countries that can pay a fortune. So the margins are very high on this. The technology already exists. We're not trying to invent some kind of specialist system that goes out there and people have to wrap their heads around. They've already got it in their house, and we see and we've been lining up advisory people to help us do this. The channels into the telcos, the channels into these people that are already delivering internet through a Wi-Fi router, but obviously you want to figure out how to monetize things on top of your core services. It can go anywhere, and we can generate high gross margins on wherever it goes. So it's super exciting. There's lots of leverage, and we'll be moving fast. Hopefully in 3 or 6 months, there's a really exciting update.
Okay. Yeah. Ed, thank you for the first introduction. Was really very interesting. Never saw this before. Yeah. And good luck with all the developments and hopefully with the first contracts. And hopefully we see us in 6 months then, or maybe earlier. It's up to you. It's not it's my point. It's more.
We'll keep in touch.
You.
I think things will move fast. So yeah, we'll keep in touch and look forward to catching up again.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. Ja, das war die erste Intro zu der Firma P2P Group. Und ich habe mir die Präsentation angeschaut und habe mir am Anfang gedacht, das kann nicht sein. Was machen die? Die nutzen eigentlich das Wi-Fi und quasi ein Radiosignal und können damit feststellen, ob im Raum wer ist, welcher hat, also welchen Herzschlag er hat, ob er dementsprechend atmet, ob er gefallen ist oder nicht, ist er zum Kühlschrank gegangen oder nicht, hat er die Kühlschranktür aufgemacht und wieder zugemacht und so weiter und so fort. Und das reicht eigentlich mit einem Wi-Fi und Radiosignal, oder das ja eigentlich ein Radiosignal auch ist, nämlich. Das ist wie man sendet aus das Signal und wie das Signal dementsprechend zurückkommt, kann man die Differenz dementsprechend heraus, eben was in diesem Raum passiert. Unglaubliches Potenzial, weil ich kenne das, meine Eltern, da habe ich das Problem gehabt, ja, geht es ihnen gut, geht es ihnen nicht, haben die irgendwelche Probleme. Das wäre genauso ein System, das man dort gebraucht hätte. Oder auch im Altersheim, dann in späterer Folge, wo ist sie gerade, geht es ihr gut, ist sie im Zimmer. Und vor allem sind die Kosten sehr gering. Also gesagt, maximal brauchst du ein kleines Device, was jetzt schon quasi überall Technologie gibt, kostet $20-30. Dann hast du das, tust rein und das reicht vollkommen. Das Einzige, was du eben brauchst, ist ein Wi-Fi-Signal, damit du das tracken kannst, und das hat man quasi schon fast überall. Kann man aber nicht nur für diesen Bereich nutzen, sondern vor allem auch für Security. Ich denke vor allem an Security. Man sieht dann natürlich, wo ist ein Glasbruch, nicht Glasbruch, hat wer die Tür geöffnet, nicht geöffnet, hat wer das Fenster geöffnet. Sind Leute gerade in dem Raum? Er hat auch vom Militär gesprochen oder Polizei, die können quasi über das Signal feststellen, ist wer drinnen im Haus, wo ist im nächsten Raum wer, wie viele Leute sind in dem Raum, weil man ja dann unterscheiden kann, wie viele Herzschläge findet das System. Also unglaublich. Also wenn das wirklich funktioniert, also das ist ein Markt, der ist grenzenlos. Also das kannst du wirklich überall verwenden. Da steht Security, Healthcare, Military, Heavy Machine, Agriculture. Das ist überall, kannst du das verwenden. Wer eigentlich das Potenzial ist unendlich. Trotzdem liegt natürlich der Teufel im Detail, sage ich. Deswegen muss man sich das natürlich anschauen. Aber von der Technologie, boah, also wenn die das umsetzen können und auch diese, was er da jetzt reinschreibt, zum Beispiel auch von den Kosten, ich meine, für Developer kostet es null zum Probieren. Ich meine, das sind ja keine Beträge. Das heißt, das kann sich wirklich, da könnte sich eine ganz neue Industrie herauskristallisieren. Und das könnte dazu eine Breakthrough-Technology sein, die absolut low-cost ist, jeder umsetzen kann, gleich umsetzen kann. Also bumm. Also ja, schaut euch die Präsentation an. Ich finde es fast unglaublich, vielleicht fast zu gut, um wahr zu sein. Ich weiß es nicht. Die Bewertung selber ist lächerlich. Mittlerweile sind wir auf 5,6 Millionen. Die Aktie steht jetzt bei 6,5 Cent, hat also nicht mehr 2,7. Aber das ist ja nichts. Ich meine, seien wir ehrlich, das ist nichts. Also unglaublich. One come to my mind. Is there any competitor? Do you have a
Of
technology
course.
advantage?
One thing I learned is you never want to be too early in technology. So there are companies doing this in North America. They've locked down products only for aged care and they've had some success. So we haven't found anything in Europe, in Asia, but especially we haven't found anyone that's figured out how to make this a platform for all the different use cases. So usually it's a very hard lockdown specialist device that they're providing. So we're taking a different route and being sort of the open source platform, which means that people's imaginations can take this as far as wide as possible, and we're building it in a way that can deliver that. So yeah, we're not educating the market. We've got validation that it can work, but we're delivering it in a unique way.
Okay. Yeah, Ed, thank you for the first introduction. Good luck with when you go to a market. Hopefully we'll see us in the next 3 to 6 months.
Fantastic. Thanks for your time today.
Thank you. And have a good day in Singapore.
Thank you. See you later.
Bye.